So woman writes that this post, finally found a guy I wanted to be exclusive with and can't stop overthinking. Well, when this happens, often what you'll find is you're attached to the result. And so it's like you're attached to getting them to be exclusive with you. And so now you're always thinking in the future. And when you're always thinking in the future, that's really what causes anxiety. So there's a quote. It's like if we're in the constantly thinking in the future, that's what causes basically anxiety. When we're constantly thinking in the past, that's what causes depression. And then if we're thinking in the present, it's like that's when we're at peace. Definitely not a direct quote on that one, but but the concept is that it's just like if you're focused in the past, that's probably the most destructive one. Sometimes if you go back to the past thinking on those experiences, they can be useful to learn, but only if you are there very quickly and then get back to really the present and the future. But then when you're in the future, if you're just overthinking all the time and overthinking on what you have to do next and this and this and this, creates anxiety. Whereas when you're in the present moment, it's just like, well, you can enjoy it for now. And oftentimes what I've found is that when we're in like, either in the past or in the future, it's usually because it's like we don't want to confront like the difficulties that are in the present moment. So it's like things might be going not so well, or they're very hard, or whatever the thing is. And so it's like we use that as an escape to kind of get out of the situation, the painful situations we're in the present moment. So it's like, yeah, be careful on that. And then just kind of tying it back just one more time, just it's like when you're focused on the result instead of just the process, sometimes you can overthink things. Let's check out this post. It is so hard to date in the first place, but I finally met a wonderful guy after being single for a very long time. And I see some great qualities in him. For one, he approached me. The next, he's a complete gentleman to everyone, not just me. Awesome. He is so polite. And so it's like there's a difference between being like a nice guy and then being a gentleman. It's like you want to be a gentleman. You want to do things like hold the door open for her, make her feel totally special. That's what it's like I perceive as being a gentleman, is making her feel totally special and totally number one when you're present with her in the moment, and doing things that basically leading the date. But you as a leader, it's your job to make her have a good time. And so it's like you structure the date to make sure she's having a good time and the two of you are having fun together, and also just how you show up and your actions you take, all direct towards that. Yeah, because it is an important distinction between that being a gentleman and being a nice guy that's just a total pleaser, usually trying to get her to like him and trying to have this like transaction based kind of mindset. He is so polite always. Yes, ma'am, sir, or no, ma'am, sir. He works super hard and is a legit human with real and attainable goals. And he's extremely patient. I feel like after being single for so long and being so independent, it's hard for me to accept that I have found someone decent and decided to make a move and be exclusive. And so her past beliefs haven't been supporting that she could actually succeed in a relationship. Now she finds someone who, matches her criteria, and now she's still having a little bit of doubts because it's different than what she had previously believed, that she was actually good enough to really be in a relationship or succeed in a relationship. I can't stop overthinking, and it's really beginning to bother me and gets on my nerves. Yeah, so you're having these doubts because it's like you might not fully believe that you're almost like worthy of a relationship. And unfortunately, that's a lot of the cases with other people. It's like when they have pain, or they've been grown up, or they're trying to avoid things in the past that happened. Oftentimes they develop beliefs that, well, if I just go back to a relationship, or if I get exclusive with somebody, it's going to cause pain. And so it's like now I'm a little bit wary on actually getting into a relationship. I can't just be comfortable. Has anyone ever experienced this? And that's what I would say is kind of going on. It's like you're having some conflicting beliefs. So it's like if you didn't have any fears, you'd have just basically associate way more pleasure to being in an exclusive relationship than you would pain. But right now, It just seems like there's some more complications that you're associating with being in a relationship with someone else. Maybe it's something like your trust. It's like maybe you think that you have to open up to somebody, and then maybe one time in the past, you opened up to somebody and they hurt you, you know? Um, yeah. And so how would you shift those beliefs? How would you make it so, okay, well, one thing that I've noticed is basically, well, it can take a process. So it can take, time, and it can take, hey, you recognizing these beliefs when they come up. And so whenever you have these negative thoughts towards a relationship, or whenever you have these doubts, and then just like, boom, stop yourself right there, put it into the conscious mind. This is a good one. This is a tool that I use constantly. And it's basically that if you can take, things that are in your subconscious mind, like your beliefs that you don't even know, and then you can like notice them in your conscious mind and then just stop. And then basically just, you can basically destroy anything that comes to your conscious mind. Um, I found that one years ago and it just came to me now, but it's like I do use that constantly. So it's like if some negative thing comes to me, I can put it in my conscious mind and say, observe that thought. Instead of just letting it go, it's like, okay, I stop that thought there. And then once it becomes in my conscious mind, I can destroy it. uh, so yeah, you've got a little bit of insight on how I kind of think here. So, but yeah, I mean, seriously though, it is. I found that, I believe it was a scientific study again years ago, and I remember doing it in college. It was like when I was stressed out about things, or I'd have like disempowering thoughts, I'd use that. And I remember a specific time in a logic class I used that exact thing. And it was like, man, this is incredible. It's like, it works. You can destroy anything that comes to your conscious mind, and you have the choice to do that. Um, Compared to if you just let it go, it'll just stay there and keep cycling into that pattern. And one thing to know is that we are so habitual as people that it's like our thoughts, we have experience. Only 9% of our thoughts day to day are different than the day before. 91% of our thoughts are the same or very similar, because we're just in that habit zone. Is another thing to think about. Pretty introspective on this post here, on this video. Um, but it is very, sometimes this stuff is useful and can help you a lot.